Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened with James Bond today, and I don't know what happened with the intro, but that's all gone, Mickey Mouse. But that's because I'm in charge of the buttons, and of course, yeah, normally Stephen is here to do it, so I missed the intro.
Where is Stephen?
Stephen's globe trotting the world.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So
Again.
again, yeah.
So
Is he a
that's
spy?
why
Is he a spy or something?
Yeah, he's a spy.
I think so.
He's a spy, yeah. So it's my responsibility to start the show, which I managed to do without pushing the recording button. So no credits at the beginning of the show, so that should be fun.
He's a Romanian spy, I think.
Steve.
Romanian?
He could be anybody's spy.
Yeah, no,
maybe he's double spy or 3 times spy.
Romanian, Bulgarian.
He's working.
Yeah, well, he says he's traveling the world, making money.
I heard he was in the UAE.
Yeah,
he's gone to. Yeah, he has. But I didn't want to say that in case people want to break into his house. Well, he wasn't.
Well, that's what
he
wants us to
exactly
believe.
What he's gone to. Yeah. I mean,
I'm not even sure he's real. I'm not even sure he's real. I think he's just AI. That's what I think.
Yeah, is it a coincidence he's in Middle East or something like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
It could go up. It could be a coincidence for him. Yeah.
It could be.
It could be.
Before we get into the conspiracy theories, which of course no doubt we'll end up getting into, as to whether or not Stephen is AI or not. Just wanted to thank everybody for joining us today. Go back to as to what the show is basically about. It's called No Snobs or Knobs. If you're a Brit, you can understand what that means. Basically, it's an open forum. It's an idea that Stephen and Riza had to have, because basically I think it was just an excuse for them to smoke cigars and drink scotch at any hour of the day. And it's kind of sort of developed from that into this sort of mayhem, which we're now part of. And I just want just to start off with something very simple. Libraries. I was listening to a program about libraries. It would appear, I know Rold looks engaged already. Does anybody go to libraries anymore? Because I had listening to this interesting woman on the TV, interesting not, where she said it's now okay to make a lot of noise in a library because we've changed what libraries are about.
Wow.
So, I don't know if anybody's been to a library recently or if I missed something.
Library with my 3D stuff, but no.
You know where I am, right? You know where I am.
In a library.
You're in the library.
Library.
What country I'm in? The chance of being in a library there is zero.
Are you Colonel Mustard in the library? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Yeah, the last time I saw a library actually functioning in this country was about 15 years ago.
Oh my God!
Along with a lot of other things that don't function. But anyway, that's another story entirely. Yeah, I do miss libraries.
But I thought that was interesting as well because she was getting really excited about libraries, and I did ask loads of people beforehand, and everybody came back with sort of the same sort of really, feedback as you guys are giving us. Library. Who'd been in one?
Well,
I was in a library in the political campaign. We had a panel debate there, and before that is 4 years ago when there also was the same debate. So libraries, why? Because you have you can read what.
Why would you go to a library?
Why?
Why would you go to one now? You don't. I mean, it's sad, but you would go for information. You go for a specific book. You'd be doing research, which you can pretty much do sitting at your desk. So that's. I mean, I like libraries, but there isn't really. Yeah. What would you do in a library that you literally couldn't do sitting in front of you?
Peace of mind and quietness. Maybe, but that's changed.
I get more here than out there. That's for sure. Quiet.
Yeah, but now it's a disco, as David says.
That's noisy.
Not.
Yeah, it's okay to make it's now officially okay to make a noise in the library, and they're sort of turning them into community centres because I think there's a big pot of legacy money which has been spent because it's a library, and then they've kind of realised, well, the only thing we see in here is tumbleweed and dust, so let's try and do something constructive with that space.
Turn it into a giant coffee house with Wi-Fi. There you go.
Yeah,
done.
They're doing that. They're doing that. They're doing that as well. You can go and have coffee. Have coffee mornings. There are lunches you can go to.
It's like a chat center. Have a chat and community.
Yeah,
and
but why not?
But live.
Just do it as a pub.
Okay. A big pub.
Yeah, and you can go over and read something. If you can borrow your mate's glasses if you don't, if you have too much.
Can I borrow a beer, please? I've come to borrow a beer.
Borrow a beer.
Read me a beer.
Do you want it back? No.
I would like a book about the history of beer.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my contribution to the show today. I thought it was really exciting. I didn't want to get too.
Don't go, please. Just stay.
I think, Dave, it leads into something else. It's like cinemas right now.
Go on then. Lead me.
Well, cinemas. I mean, when you used to go to the movie theater when you were a kid, it was much more of a big deal. Everybody would shut up and we would enjoy the movie. Now, it's a chat house. It's unbelievable. That's why I don't go to movies as theaters anymore. And
there's lots of bitching, lots of fighting.
Yeah, people on phones ringing, talking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm in the movie house. I can't talk now.
Really?
Yeah, exactly.
This happens?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't happen in Greece.
Well, it happens here. It happens here.
Oh my God, I have to move there.
It happens here. Yeah, and you got they sell lots of food. I mean, basically, it's a food outlet, isn't it? So you got people slurping some form of cola, and people eating popcorns and all the sort of noises of all the people wrapping sweets.
And why popcorn? Who was it? I beg popcorn was invented in the movie theater.
That's possible.
I don't know. It's
I'll tell you what it's talking about.
Okay, library. But when you were last time at the cinema, I went to see Oppenheimer like 2 weeks ago, maybe less, with a big popcorn.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was quiet. 3 hours movie. It was more than 3 hours. And
it's because most people are asleep.
I'm you know what I do generally if I want to go to the theater, what I do, the movie theater that is, I generally I find it like 2 hours on a Monday morning when they're showing it. Then I go because then it's quiet. There's like 4 people in the cinema. It's fantastic. But if you go on a Saturday night or Friday night evening.
Yeah.
Like
in general, it's better to do things other hours that most of the people do. Yeah. So but it's really nice to open your day with a movie or something like that.
I mean, when I was a teenager, you'd always go to the cinema. Nobody'd make any noise because they'd be too busy snogging your girlfriend, wouldn't you? Because that'd be like the only place to go to do it.
Okay.
Well, your girlfriend. Yeah.
These days, David, it was also dark in the cinema. Now it's blinking lights and LEDs and.
Oh yeah. So no.
You can see everything now. Yeah.
No clandestine sex then anymore.
That's all good, David. Thank you.
No. Hey, I wanted to.
People. It doesn't stop.
Sorry, Adam.
In Greece, we have open air cinemas. I think it's the only country that does because of the weather, of course. And there you can smoke, drink alcohol, beer, and eat. And it's
you have in Poland. In not in Gdansk, but in Sopot.
Sopot, there was an open cinema.
Yeah.
Oh, really? We have it. We have it like many of those in the summer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tradition. But speaking about Poland, if there was elections in Poland this week, and after 8 years, this is important because it will change some things. The government changed. came a pro-European government. Now it's there. It's Donald Tusk. Tusk, we call him. English, it's Tusk. Donald Tusk. The opposition is coming, which is more liberal. The ex-government was really with, with church and following, banning abortions, against LGBT people and stuff like that. These things are going to just as a big change, a good change, I think.
May I ask you, Adam? May I ask you, because I mean that's good. Great. I agree with that. I think
so.
What I wanted to, what I heard, and maybe you can clarify. There was a concern, and as I say, I only heard this with half an ear. But the new government in Poland might be more pro, I don't know, Putin, or am I getting it right?
No. It's pro-European.
Pro-European.
Okay, no, come on, Adam. The new one wants to get out of the European
Union. No. The
no?
X one. The X one.
The X one. Okay.
That's why Poland and Hungary. What's the guy in Hungary?
The nice guy.
Orban. Those guys, Mazowiecki. In fact, Mazowiecki was prime minister, but there's one guy behind him. It's Kaczyński. Morawiecki was the prime minister. They are like together, and Orban is open with pro-Russian. Orban and the Polish one were close with those, but Polish, they cannot be. I mean, pro-Russia. They just cannot. It's the biggest enemy. Like the Greeks have the Turks.
Yeah.
The Polish have now, because it was Germany ex, but now we are allies. Now they have the Russians. But this one is pro-European, and the ex-government was making a lot of problems with the European Union, with...
I know.
Yes, with...
a lot.
They messed a lot with judgment system. I mean, they put their people there, and there are a lot of problems with the European Union. Now, I hopefully this will be gone. And I think it's good for those people, because it's a more free and more human, I think, government it will be. Not again.
But Poland, we had in Norway, we always had, and I've been working in the industry to get people to work in Norway and Sweden.
I have two friends, very close friends, who live in Norway.
Good.
Polish guys, yeah.
That's why I've been all over Poland.
But Polish are people. Also in UK, in Netherlands.
But now more and more are going back home, because the economy is boosting, and it's very good. Because I don't want to be patronize anyone, but they've been outside having kind of more learning and know-how from other countries, and now they're going back, and it's a winner.
Yes, with the knowledge, with experience. I think that Poland will go even up now. It was going up, although with the problems with that government, but now I think it will boost a little more. Well, hopefully, those things, because those are in paper, right? we have to wait and see.
I'm glad to hear that they are getting out of all this thing where I don't know. I have a problem with governments that get into LGBT issues, abortions. I always think to myself, here's the thing: if you are an intolerant person, keep that to yourself. For me, a politician represents business and things like that. Personal issues, that has nothing to do with you. That is not your business. Abortions,
exactly.
That is
but
this affects a woman and a doctor, but nothing to do with politicians. It's ridiculous.
I will tell you a problem that I have personally living in Greece because of that government in Poland. My girlfriend is Polish. I have both Polish and Greek nationalities. And there is something in Greece that we call it like we can live. We don't have to marry. We can just sign a paper that will co-live together. It's like a law. But this we cannot do here in Greece because Poland has not accepted this. And they have not accepted this exactly because they don't want the LGBT people to get to this legal partnership like this. You understand? And this is a practical
control.
problem.
Come on, it's all about control.
Yeah, there's so much strange stuff going on because when my son was born, I've been living with my partner, my ex-wife. I've been living with her for 20 odd years. And when my son was born, I went to the local Gemeente house, local government office, to register that he was born, as register as a father. And then she said, "I'm sorry, you can't register because you have a British passport." So I said, "Well, what's all that about?" Well, I knew what it was about. So I asked her what it was about. And she said, "Well, come into this little room and explain it all to you." And it goes back as far as the Reformation, where Catholics were forbidden to go onto the bloodline. So all men, they didn't have to recognize their children.
Yeah.
The children were only recognized in marriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this, so I couldn't recognize my child because my nationality wouldn't allow me to do it. So when my child was born, he would have been, if anything would have happened to his mother or to me, he would have gone directly to his grandmother because I had absolutely no control over him.
Wow.
You know a lot about Ireland, of course, and I've been a lot in Dublin. Lots of friends there. In Dublin, it's really crazy because of the system. You can have one moral that's not good enough. You have to have two morals. You have to have the double moral. You know.
What's that?
The double moral is to do what the real moral says, and also to do the opposite.
I'm confused.
You're confused. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try one more time. You know, when you read morals from the old world, and it's been with us all the time, we are saying that we are doing the moral things, but behind that, it's the opposite.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
sounds like
hidden.
Church.
It's church. Like in Ireland, you can't have an abortion, but there's abortions all over.
Well, I think that you can now. I think you can now.
Yeah.
It was only Poland left. It's only Poland left.
Yeah.
And you know what they do? You know what they do? People to have abortion. They go to Slovakia or Czech Republic.
Yeah.
They go down.
Well, they did. They go in Ireland. They'd go to Northern Ireland, or they go to the UK.
Yeah.
I just have to say, this is a global thing that keeps coming up. In the States, it's there, it's whatever. This abortion thing is the most fantastic thing for me because I go, what the hell has that got to do with any politician? What has it got to do with a church?
Nothing.
Anything. Zero. If you are not a member of a church, hang on. If you're not a member of a church, that is your right. You don't have to be a part of the church. And you say, I am a citizen of this country. I am not a part of that church. It's my body and my doctor. We do it. What the hell has it got to do with morals, God, politician? Why do they keep sticking their fingers in that issue? Oh, we don't want people to kill their children. Fine, deal with it in your community. These people are not part of your club. So go away. Leave them alone.
It comes down to money, doesn't it, with the church? Because
power.
Yeah, and power. Because I'm Protestant, but my partner, my ex-wife, is Catholic. So by default, as if the children are Catholic, because the Catholic Church says I'll have them because it adds to our numbers.
What does that mean?
Yeah, the same as if your mother's Jewish, then you are by definition Jewish, even if you don't take the faith. So it's just it's just that power thing as well. And in reverse, we got married. We had a civil marriage before my second daughter was born, because when my son, to finish the story about my son, when my son was born, I had to take the Dutch government to court
Oh,
and a judge had to say it's okay. We accept that he is the father. And the judge said, because he said, I've done so many of these court cases. He said it's disgusting. It's terrible, because the British law won't allow me to recognise. I don't have to recognise children outside of wedlock, and so therefore, that's by de facto. The Dutch can't accept me doing it
it's
because I'm not
crazy.
married. Mad, isn't
This
it?
is
It's a mad
crazy.
world we live in.
Wow.
But
Yeah,
what
it's
about
a
mad?
mad world. We see it every day.
What about the mad world we're living in? Let's go back to popcorn. So I was going to talk about popcorn.
You like popcorn?
What I hate, what I hate about popcorn, because this is an important issue. It's an important, it's a serious show, as we know. What about salty popcorn? Who the hell invented that?
What's wrong
Does
with
anybody
salty
like?
That's all right.
You have to have salt on
Thank you,
popcorn.
Martin.
No,
What do you
In
put on
this
it,
case,
Dave?
sweet popcorn should be.
Yeah, caramel should be sweet. Lots of
Oh, that's
No.
fine too.
No, come
No,
on, you
no.
get
No,
you
look,
got to
It has
throw
to
up.
be.
Yeah.
It has to be salty
Oh.
because you need to have a Coca-Cola, which is sweet.
Yeah, no,
You need to
absolutely.
balance
Yeah,
Having-
of course,
the
of
good
course.
and the bad.
It's the same cardinal sin as people who put sea salt in chocolate.
Yeah, okay, but that's really good. It is.
Oh,
Oh, you mean
okay.
like salt
Right,
and
well,
caramel and things like that? You're talking about that?
Sea
Yeah.
salt,
Yeah.
sea salt
yeah,
is good.
sea salt
Yeah.
chocolate.
What's wrong with that?
It's
Oh, it
good.
must be me then. It must be me. I'll accept that. It's sacrosanct. It's a bit like it's paramount to blasphemy.
Well, Dave,
I
Dave,
was in Romania, and they sold in Romania this crisp. I was into a store, and I just catch something. I didn't know what it was, but it was a crisp, potato crisp with sugar,
The sugar.
Yeah.
with sugar, and that's not eatable. Come on.
no,
No.
I agree.
Okay.
Somebody eats it since they sell it.
Okay, well let's go down to sugary, salty. What about salted licorice, which the Dutch absolutely love?
Our licorice.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know licorice anyway.
And me neither.
Okay.
Ugh, can't stand licorice. Ugh.
Yeah,
Hang
I
on.
can.
Yeah.
I don't
There
know.
we go. So that's a little bit of food bigotry coming out there.
Big time.
And now the next salty things is salty cars.
Salty
Big
cars.
cars, vans especially.
Salty
So
what?
when you
Car?
lick the when you lick the car, you would have a salty taste.
All right. So that's a Norwegian
Sweaty.
thing. Is,
Maybe it's sweaty.
is that a Norwegian thing to lick?
I don't know.
vans?
Of course.
Well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
And if it didn't exist, it does exist now.
Yeah,
It'll
Yeah,
become a trend.
yeah.
Now the world is
Okay.
crazy, and it needs crazy trends. That's what we
Let's
see.
have
The-
a little bit of a round robin then, and find out what's peeing people off this week. Adam, what's upset you this week?
Sorry?
Has anything upset you this week?
Upset me? The bombing of the hospital upset me, of course, and I think everybody in
Yeah.
the world.
Mm.
That's the worst because it complicates more things. Like it looks like somebody wanted this to complicate things more and go
Yeah.
to the edge, to the extreme. Because this is extreme. We're talking about extreme, and this is going badly. Really, really bad, and
Yeah.
it's not nice. Not nice at all.
Well,
I'll be posting a work that I created in 2018, which I didn't have any conflict on mind when I created it, but you will see that it is really fitting to the situation because there was a bomb with wings, let's say, like Golden Bomb.
Oh, we look forward to seeing that.
It's so sad, it's so sad. It's really sad. I mean, what's going on there?
Yeah.
And I try to, because one side is saying the one thing, the other side is the other thing. I try to look who would benefit from this, and it looks that nobody is really benefiting from that. It's only benefiting if you pose to the other side that it's their fault, that they did it. This is the only thing that benefits.
Pointing.
Yes, pointing that they did it. You might have done it, but they did it. You see?
Yeah, they did it first.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And the world is divided between fanatics. I mean, not the people that are in the conflict. I mean, here in Greece, I go to Twitter and I see Twitter X, and I see those who are fanatics with Israel or other fanatics with Palestine, and they're accusing each other like a game. I think that those fanatics are thinking that this is a game. There is no there should be no fanatism in this. I mean, people are dying for nothing. Because every war ends somehow. And the war, Russia said that the war is not going to tell you who's right or who is right. It shows who will be left.
Yeah.
That's what war is. And
but Adam, what about the poor people now in north of Gaza? You know, they've been asked to move south.
to a corner of this small piece of land, because Egypt doesn't allow them. No, Jordan doesn't allow them. I mean, those allies.
They're stuck, and they have to leave the houses, the family, everything, to go into the unknown with bombs over the head. It's humanity.
It's disaster. Exactly, it's a disaster. It's human disaster. It's disgrace. It's disgrace to humanity.
I was trying to avoid getting stuck into the whole war debate today.
You cannot avoid it. I think.
Let's see where we go to from here. Roald, what about you? What's upset you this week since we last spoke?
Well, I could talk about rugby, but I'll get to that in a second. But
let's talk about the rugby.
You guys brought up that whole situation is absolutely tragic, and what Morten said as well, and Adam too alluded to, is this is really a playground fight between people with big weapons, and there's not many of them. And in the middle get caught all the people who have got nothing to do with this fight, who don't want this fight, and yet they live there, they're stuck. I mean, Gaza is what, 40 kilometers by 10 kilometers. It is a tiny piece of land. And you can analyze this thing to death. It's been going on for decades, millennia, whatever it is. And I don't want to pretend to know what the hell's going on there, but I'm pretty sure that people there don't even know, what are we fighting about? What is this about? What exactly is the issue? Why? And what I've always found frustrating, there was an Israeli series called Fauda. You should watch that. It's about the whole, the angst between the Palestinians and the Israelis and whatever. But forget the story. What is interesting is if you look beneath, and I know some people might be offended by me saying this, but genetically and historically, these are all the same people. What are you fighting about? You live under the same sun, you eat the same food, your languages are similar, there is intermarriages going on, there are people who marry this, that, Palestinians marrying Israelis, blah, 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 boys and girls all dating each other. I mean, what exactly is different? I mean, it's like the whole Ukrainian-Russian thing. I mean, Zelensky's mother tongue is Russian. For goodness sake, what are these people fighting about? It's little small-minded men with big weapons and small egos taking their frustrations out on other small men with little egos or whatever it is. And in the middle, you have all the people going, we don't want this. Why are we? What is going on? And as you said, Morten, if you look at the map of Gaza, it's a tiny piece of land. The Israelis said you got to leave. Okay, where? How? I mean,
nowhere.
I'm not taking any position, but I understand what they were angry about, because that the Hamas attack was pretty bad. I understand why they reacted.
Yeah.
But I'm saying what they have done now is they've put ordinary people. I mean, their beef is with Hamas. It's not with Palestinians. At least I hope it isn't. And they have put these people where they're supposed to go. I watched a report of a CNN reporter who lives in Gaza, and he got he's a mate. He's a mate. He's got a mate or a contact in the Israeli army or commander who said, "You got to get out. Go. You got to get out." And he left. But the same thing. And now he was in the hotel, and then the hotel got bombed or damaged, and then they had to leave that as well. I mean, he's like, where do I go? My family, my house, my everything is there.
Yeah.
You say I must go, but where am I supposed to go? I can't
they're
just
stuck
go.
there. They're in a trap.
Yeah.
Those people are in a trap to die.
Yeah, and then
they have no water, they have no electricity, they have bombs, they have nowhere to go. What the hell? What they can do?
There was a friend of this chap that actually also got stuck, and they said to him, "You've got to go." So they got out of the area, the zone of the attack, and they were still killed, the whole family. Now, no matter what your position is, this business where families, children, women are getting killed that have nothing to do with it, it's difficult to feel any sympathy for the people that are committing these acts, whatever side they're on. This is ridiculous now. These people need to grow up and just, what are they? It's just, I don't know. It's horrible. I can't even.
Yes. Everything you say, it's really true. Everything.
Yeah.
But look, the whole thing was started by this Hamas, which it's also true that they take cover by the innocent people there. So it's so complicated. It's so complicated.
But since 1948, when Israel was founded again, there was I read about it. There was a proposal to give, I don't remember which state it was in UK, because it's a lot of Jews in UK, and they were promised to get a whole state, but they couldn't leave the holy place. And it's about Jerusalem, it's about all these important kind of landmarks.
Yeah,
and
Temple Mount.
I do understand them, but as my dead father, God bless him, told me, there will never be peace down there.
No, it doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. And it's such a tiny piece of Moses. So silly. Oof. If I may say, and I know Adam, I know what your position on this is, so I'm going to just say this. I was sort of a man of faith most of my life, and I still kind of am, but I'm more of, I don't know. I'm in the position of I don't know. I don't know if I'm a this or a that. I'm just on the fence. I don't know, which I think to me is the best we can hope for. What do we know? What made everything? I don't know. We just don't know.
Honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I suspect things, and I can scientifically analyze. But what you will find, what a lot of the problem with this whole issue is, I'm afraid to say it's got to do with these religion. No. Religion is fueling a lot of this, and
you said what you said before. What you said before, that those people are, if you take the DNA, and what I say all the time is that we all humans are in a rock in a rock in space, and we have common fate. We are going to die, all of us. Until we die, let's have some fun. Let's explore. Let's collaborate. Human race is created by default to collaborate. We have done great things with collaboration.
We had to learn.
Exactly. There's not a way. We have to make peace. There's not. We cannot. Okay, those guys in Paris, they cannot go anywhere. But all of us in this planet, we cannot go anywhere else.
But Adam, there's one important thing I don't understand, and that is, if a country has economical problems and they are struggling, every country is struggling these days, almost, and then they want more land, more responsibilities by what's wrong? It's not logical at all. It's crazy. But I think it's one thing I've been learning from my politician career, and that is always follow the money.
Well, I don't think that it's money. It's about power. I think it's a psychological. It's about human nature. It's about human nature, actually. We
Money and
are.
power go. You know.
Well, I think power. If you have power, you have money also. You don't always buy power with money, because
No.
let's say that you have money. There's somebody who has more money. That's why they
Mm.
go for that's why they want the politicians. Most of the that's this in my head, that most of the politicians want to go for the power, which will bring them also money, reputation, people, be meeting people, everything. That's what they think. But the problem is deeper. It's in the human nature, I believe. And it's about our minds. Our minds, they tend to believe stories which might be lies. The whole thing, like Ralph said, is about religions. Okay, those religions are stories. And we tend to follow those. Look, Putin and everybody, they stick to a story so much, they cling to the story so much that they can sacrifice people for their stories, just like that. Just stories. And it doesn't matter who is right, wrong, or something, because nobody is right, nobody is wrong. It's all the whole thing wrong. The war is wrong by default.
We are brothers and sisters.
Exactly.
Well, we are siblings. Yeah.
Exactly. But really, we are really brothers.
But just on that thing, but in particular, those two situations, the Middle East, Palestine, Israeli situation, and the Ukrainian-Russian situation, highlight that exact point. I mean, these people in those areas are the same people. I mean, they're the same people. I mean, when the war broke out in Ukraine, there were families that were split. So the mother would be in Russia and husband, father would be in Ukraine. I mean, that just highlights just how interconnected, in particular, those two countries are. And I've looked at that whole situation, the invasion, people saying there were some Nazis in Ukraine, whatever. The point is, I still don't understand why it is necessary to have gone in there and slaughter innocent people. I'm still trying to understand what the good was. Because what I like to do is I like to make sure that I'm not jumping on one side because of a media position or someone said something. You go and then you have a look. What is the situation? What are people really about? What are they saying? What is the history? And in particular, look, the Palestine-Israeli situation, I have to say, as Morten alluded to, in 1948, some people say it got created. That situation was created, but that's for another topic. Because you said, all right, you're going to get that. Then what happens to all these people? What do they do? So that's a topic for another bet, because we can go round and round.
We're not going to
the Ukraine-Russian thing is extraordinary for me, because up until the break of the Soviet Union, they were all one. It was one country. They were one people. It's just bizarre.
I'm not sure if they identify themselves as one.
No, no, there was
no.
They don't.
For
us, maybe they look one, but
here's an interesting question to you all. Is there still a war in the Ukraine going on? Because I turn on my TV, nowhere to be found.
It's a diversion. It's a diversion. During wars,
the war's gone.
Welcome to media.
It's gone from the media.
Yeah.
There you go.
And you know something? Now, talking about geopolitics, etc., I think they are connected, those two.
Yeah.
I think one is an extension of the other. I think there is a touch from Putin there. I think so.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Talking about media, I was listening to somebody who had deliberately switched himself off from news for the last 6 weeks. And he'd reached the conclusion that why is the news that he was listening to so important, so dynamic, so now, but he couldn't do anything about it. So why should he get busy about that news? He couldn't change it. couldn't be part of it. He just let it wash over him, and he'd taken himself out of news for 6 weeks. I don't know how you feel about this news all rushing towards you. It's slightly a cynical remark from me, but we look about the Ukraine, but nothing. We don't get anything. That's all of a sudden, it's disappeared. It's we're back watching entertaining war on CNN.
It's another narrative. It's another narrative. It's what I said before, that there are fanatics, like in Greece. I can say about Greece, but it happens everywhere now. There are fanatics that take side fanatically. It's with one side or the other. And for them, it's another narrative in their life. I think that most of the people are having so boring life, although we are living in such a great time. I mean, there's no, with the internet, since the internet came, no one can be bored anymore. You can do so many stuff. You can learn everything. I learned 3D from books. Now you can learn it from the internet with tutorials and stuff like this, easier, faster, and everything. You can have professions, many professions, just looking at the internet tutorials or watching movies or anything.
But there's also still a large group of people who can't afford the internet, who can't be part of this.
Yeah.
What we're currently involved in, and and that's.
Yeah, that's why we should focus on to those problems, that there are people who are starving, that don't have water.
Yeah.
But there is one thing about war. I'm going to stop the war thing, but I have to say one thing, and that is what's the narrative about a war, or what's follow the money in a war. What is used in a war? A lot of bombs. And who's producing these bombs? They need wars. If not, they have to close down.
Yeah, well, catch-22, huh? Catch-22.
Yeah, it is. They have to have, and nothing more.
I don't know if I'm Morton. I may have got my figures wrong here, but Israel have that thing called the Iron Dome, right? It's the Iron Dome. And apparently, I read that every time they shoot off a missile to to get rid of a bomb or something coming over, that's like I'm sure it's like about $4,000 every time. Might even be more. So every time that goes off, it's unbelievable the amount of money they'll spend every hour and every day. It's crazy.
It's like a giant firework display, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the same
with big money going off all the time.
Big money going off.
Who is making that stuff? They can't afford to have peace. You can't have peace.
You can't have peace.
Out of business.
While you have factories producing munitions, it's a sausage factory, isn't it? At the end of the day, you put meat in one end and the product comes out the other, and all these people, big money. It's nothing like a good war. That's what they say.
Okay, but I will point something else, because you're right about it. It's of course it's what Morten was saying, follow the money or the power. It's there. Look, I have seen protests for the Israel. I have seen protests for the Palestine, but I believe that most of the people are peaceful. I haven't seen protests around the world about peace. We should go out, everybody, and say, let's stop this fucking thing. What are we doing? Let's stop it. And show a message to every government, like in every country. But we are not going to do it. We are not going to do it.
No.
Because we have accepted that this is the way it goes. The big sharks and the big money, what can we do? No, you have the power. We have still democracy. I mean, at least in the countries I think that we live. In the most of the countries probably. And
we have to learn from the Frenchman. The ordinary workers in France. If there's some funny business, they shut down. The road is unusable. The garbage is not collected.
This is what happens in Greece too. I think it's even more.
Okay.
They're called anarchists here.
It would never happen in Norway. In Norway, we just talk.
You are peaceful.
Nothing
people.
happens.
Yeah, it's the same here. And there's another word that goes with democracy, isn't there? In the world that we live in, and that's apathy. And
Yes.
there's so much that people say, well, it doesn't affect me.
Until it does,
And
because
it's a way of, it's also a way of sort of protecting yourself, because if you're not careful, like this guy was talking about taking himself out 6 weeks out of the news, he said that he felt as if he was in a tsunami of news, and it consumed him, and that's all he could do. So he stepped out of it because he said, "I can't change it. I can't change it. I can't."
yeah, but it's
There's
kind of
nothing I can do.
empathy as well, in a way, because you can't change it. You can, speaking your
Of course.
voice. I mean,
But
if we are 8 billion people, if 7 billion people went out right now and said, stop this fucking thing, it will stop. I believe so. And they would go like, let's go and protest outside the companies that create bombs, outside not only the Israeli or Palestinian or American, every or to the center of every big city, like millions. And we have to understand that we are living in one world. It's one village now. We have to understand it. The problem is that it's a new thing. It wasn't like this 50 years ago. It's now,
No.
and we are like slowly, trying to digest it somehow. That we are living in a one world. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
yeah,
But
and
people are willing to be slaves. People are willing. They are willingly go in to be slaves if
Yeah,
they can drive the supercar. They can have 100-screen television. They can have internet. They can have that. They can have
I agree.
everything. They are satisfied, and they will
Exactly.
do nada, nothing.
Unless
Bingo.
now,
the
last
problem comes to their house.
gentlemen, last word then to Rold, because you're all my slaves today, so I'm going to switch you off in a minute.
You're
So,
my bitches.
I wanted
Rold,
to.
You're my bitches.
I wanted to answer. I wanted to answer Adam's question. Why don't 7 billion people do it? And it also speaks what Morton said. I think, unfortunately, I think most people are basically very selfish. I don't think they
Yeah.
want to
Agree.
go out of their
Ego.
comfort zone. And if you were standing on the shore and you saw billions of people all moving out into the sea, you'd probably do it or whatever. But we don't see that movement. We don't see that global opinion about something. People just don't see it. They don't want to know about it because it makes them uncomfortable. They choose to ignore it. They're just worried about their own situation. And you have to say, it's not, I'm not judging them. You have to understand why people do that. There's so much nonsense going on in the world. They go, I don't want to know about that. I'm just going to protect myself. I'm going to make sure my family is safe. Every time I say something on social media, people, they have a go at me. Or if I say something at work, someone jumps on my throat. Now, I suspect all the people on this podcast, all you guys and me, we are type A people. We'll say something. We will stand up. I don't think any of us are afraid of talking in front of a group of people. But you have to know, most people are just not like that. They're not, they feel vulnerable. They feel like that someone is, people are watching them. This is why people don't like to stand up in front of others. And that's the majority of people. And that is why we have the wars. That is why people just vote or don't vote. It's almost beyond apathy. It's, I just don't want to know. I don't want to be threatened. I don't want to. I'm fine. Don't hurt me. Just stay away from me. I've had drama in my life. I don't want this. And that's why you'd be hard pressed to get all these billions of people. We should, of course, we should. But if we started something now and we all arrived in the town square with our guns and stuff, there'd be 4 of us. That'd be it. Done.
Yeah.
People go,
well,
where's everyone?
I'd just like to say, gentlemen, thank you all for being on the show today. It would appear that we like telling everybody about what we think about life. Let's hope people have enjoyed watching the show. Thank you to Adam. Thank you to Rold, and thank you to Morton. Come back next week, guys, with more No Snobs or Knobs. And perhaps even the mighty Stephen will be back among us. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.